Wow, I honestly cannot believe we finally went to Edinburgh. It just feels like such a dream come true. Even now, I'm still like, did that actually happen? I thought I would make this part of the video as useful as I can and talk about some tips and pieces of advice that I would give if you're thinking about traveling to Edinburgh yourself, because there is just so much to see and so much to do. I wanted to try and help where I possibly can. And I also kind of just wanted to sit down and talk about some of my favourite things of each day and places I would really recommend going to. So grab yourself a hot drink, get cozy, and let's have a catch up. So for my birthday last month, my best friend surprised me with the trip. She wrote me this gorgeous poem talking about how when we were growing up, we really wanted to see the world outside of our little hometown and go on adventures. And on the back, there was a note saying Edinburgh, February 2025. And I just started tearing up. I was so speechless. It was unreal. What I did to deserve such a present and such an amazing best friend, I do not know, but it was just the most memorable experience of my life. And because my birthday was in January and we were going out in February, it meant that we didn't really have long to wait. So it was super fun kind of planning our itinerary and getting all excited and getting ready. So yeah, not long to wait at all, and it came around so fast. So we went to Edinburgh for 3 days. We flew out at 7 a.m. on Sunday morning and we came back at 7 a.m. on Wednesday morning. I do recommend going as early as you can because it just means you have a full day rather than get there in the afternoon or evening and kind of miss out on a full day. When we arrived on the Sunday, we went to our hotel because often or not, when you book with a hotel, if you have luggage, even though you can't check in until the afternoon, you can drop your stuff off so you can go for a venture without all of your stuff. But surprisingly, the lady was like, if you're happy to wait around for half an hour, we can get a room sorted for you. So we kind of just sat in the lobby, had a coffee, and our room was done. So it meant that we can just chill, recover from the flight, and just kind of relax before heading back out again. The hotel that we stayed at, I 100% recommend. Of course, this is down to budget and what you want to pay, but we stayed at the Wild Hotel Apartments and they were just the most stunning rooms I have ever stayed in. The great thing about Edinburgh is everything is very centralized, and where our location was for the hotel, it was just perfect. The hotel itself was just amazing. The bathroom was stunning. The kind of bedroom / living room was stunning as well. We had a TV and we had a really gorgeous view as well of kind of like the garden / rest area, I suppose, or smoking area. Not too sure what it is, but it was really nice. And it had so many beautiful buildings around to look at as well. It was really nice. Literally on the doorstep to the hotel as well was the view of the castle as well. And just having that right on your doorstep was just insane. We wanted to also kind of have a nice relaxing place to stay. So yeah, I definitely recommend the hotel, and the staff are super friendly. They also do breakfast buffets in the morning as well. Yeah, really beautiful place. Sunday for us was kind of a see where our feet take us and explore kind of day, just because we had food planned, but also being a Sunday, some shops were closed. So our itinerary was kind of just go to all of the free places that we could go to and kind of the monuments around us. So literally right around the corner from our hotel room, we had Armchair Books. This bookshop is just one of the most amazing bookshops I think I have ever seen. It is small, it is a little bit of a squeeze, just a heads up, but it is just the most incredible bookshop. The amount of books that they have in there is absolutely insane, and how old some of the books were, I just don't understand how they are still there. The variety was just incredible, but not only that, they had so many first editions and second editions, and the amount of old books that they had as well was just mind-blowing. I just find it so fascinating how old books can be preserved. I do kind of regret not buying something whilst I was there now, but there were just so many books, and where it was the first day, I didn't want to overload my suitcase too much because we didn't have a lot of luggage space. Honestly, definitely recommend going there because it's just got that really kind of cozy vintage atmosphere. It's a great shop to take photos, but of course it's also got amazing books in there to buy as well. And if you love looking through old books and actually being able to hold them and read through them, definitely recommend visiting there. I remember looking through some really old books from Shakespeare and I was just thinking like, wow, these are old. After breakfast, we headed out and we went through Prince's Gardens and we went to Ross Fountain. This was a really stunning place. It's a great place to have pictures as well. And then we headed to the high street where there was the Waterstones. We did really want to try and get the seat in the cafe that overlooks the castle, but it was very busy, so unfortunately we didn't get to do that. But it was still really nice just kind of walking around and having a look what was there. It's such a beautiful Waterstones as well because it's 2 floors, so yeah, I definitely recommend going there. And then after walking around the high street for a little bit and visiting some of the shops there, they've got a lot of magical shops, like Harry Potter inspired souvenir shops, etc. We then headed out for a roast dinner, and then we kind of just spent the evening going to some free museums that we could find and just kind of having a look around to see what was open and visiting the monuments. So yeah, it was a really nice day just kind of walking around. Really good way to get your steps in, I will admit. I think we did about 17 to 20k steps every single day. Like, we walked. But my favourite thing about Sunday was definitely visiting the famous Victoria Street. It's just such a beautiful street and everything is so cozy and so atmospherical. The shops are really nice. There's so many cafes and places to go. But we did decide to visit the Elephant House. So if you are a Harry Potter fan, this is where she wrote the books and this is where it all kind of started. But it's just overall a really cozy cafe. They do takeouts as well and breakfast and lunch and dinner and stuff. So I had this kind of, I can't remember what it was called, but it was like a froggy hot choco or something like that. It was really, really nice. I kind of didn't want to eat it though. You know, when you look at something and you're like, oh, that's really cute, I don't want to eat it. But it was really, really nice. I really enjoyed it. And the atmosphere in there is just so nice and calming. Definitely recommend visiting there if you do go. Monday was hands down my favorite day of the time that we were there, because Monday morning we actually woke up to snow and this was so gorgeous. There is just something so magical about having snow in Edinburgh. Like, it was just so gorgeous. It didn't stick because it was kind of raining beforehand, but just having the snow fall around us whilst we were out and about, oh, it was just so magical. I can't stop thinking about it. So Monday was probably our most adventurous day, I would say. We did go to the castle first thing in the morning. So after breakfast, we headed down to the castle, which was only about a 10-minute walk away. Again, very centralised. I do recommend booking tickets in advance because I don't know how much the tickets are when you get there and pay at the place, but we paid £19 per person online, and I think it does work out a little bit cheaper maybe. I'm not 100% sure. I just remember being told to book online, so we did. And I know it sounds like quite a lot, but honestly, you will be there for a long time. I think we were there for about 3 or 4 hours. Honestly, there was just so much to see and so much history to discover. Honestly, it was such an amazing day. There was lots of history on the war. There was lots of Scottish history as well. I absolutely loved it because there was just so much to do there. I also really recommend going to the cafe there as well halfway through the day just to kind of have a bit of a break. And it wasn't as expensive as I thought it was going to be as well. I think my hot chocolate cost me about £3.50 or £3.80, something like that. I was expecting to be a lot more, but they also serve hot food, cold stuff, desserts, cakes, all sorts of different things. Really good quality, amazing place. So yeah, I definitely recommend going to the castle. I don't know if anyone else kind of thinks the same way that I do, but I was just stood there the entire time. Like, I cannot believe I am stood exactly where people were from like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago are stood as well, who were living in completely different conditions and going through all these crazy things. So yeah, there was a lot of shock factor in the journey. So after exploring the castle, we headed back out, and one of my favourite things about the day was holding the owl. Outside the castle, there was a man and a younger boy, and both of them had an owl each. The older guy had like this big, gorgeous, brown, fluffy owl, and then the younger lad, he had a really small owl, and I thought it was a baby, and I held him. You do have to pay. It's £5, I think, for the small one and £8 for the big one, but I went for the small one because there wasn't as many people queuing up for him, and he was so, so sweet. He was just so small. Birds are my favourite animal, so this was one of my favourite things about the day. It was just so lovely to hold him. But believe it or not, he was actually 11 years old, so he was actually older than the owl behind us, the bigger one, and I couldn't believe it. And he had this really cute little furry mustache as well. But yeah, if you love animals, definitely recommend giving them a hold. Another thing which I was absolutely obsessed with was there was a guy standing outside who was asking for donations in exchange for an old vintage newspaper styled photograph. I am convinced I was born in the wrong time because I love anything vintage. I still use my typewriter to write letters. I love old things and vintage things, cameras, all that sort of stuff. So as soon as I saw it, I was like, I'm gonna need to do this. He will basically take a photo for you in front of the castle and he will print it out on this really cool looking newspaper. And yeah, I just thought it was really awesome, and it's a really great souvenir as well. So I definitely recommend doing that, and you can donate basically anything you want to him. After that, we then visited the Witch's Well. We completely missed this because it's hidden a little bit kind of on the side of a wall, but pretty much as soon as you come out of the castle exit, it's right on the wall on the left. It will be directly in front of you. But this is something that Shannon wanted to visit because she watches a series called Outlander. And she's recently got me watching it and I'm absolutely hooked. But apparently one of the characters is inspired from this witch as well. And obviously if you love anything witchy, then I definitely recommend visiting it. It's only a little while, but it's something really cool and historical, so I definitely recommend giving it a visit. Once we kind of did everything around the castle, we then headed off and went to the Writers' Museum, where this is based on the 3 famous poets. Again, it wasn't too far, relatively close, and again, we just kind of walked around, had something to eat, and kind of went to a few different places. We also went to another location from Outlander. I think Shannon said it was something to do with kind of a print shop in the series, but we went and visited that as well, and that was really lovely. And now I'm watching the series, I'm kind of glad that I went to that filming location. So again, if that's something you're interested in, definitely recommend that as well. And then that's when we decided to go book shopping. So this was the day that we headed over to Booklovers Bookshop. However, don't do an us and make sure you check the time that it's open before you walk all the way over there. So unfortunately, when we got there, it was shut. And we were very, very sad about this because it was closed on the days that we were there. So it is closed on a Monday and a Tuesday. I'm not too sure why we didn't check, to be quite honest. I think in the back of our heads, we were like, oh, it's a weekday. It'll probably be open. It's retail. But no, it was shut. So make sure, for the love of life, if you want to go to the bookshop, make sure you check to see if it's open first. But I still recommend the shop. I've seen so much about it on booktok. It's got a range of romance books and it's also got some bookish merch in there as well. I think this would have been the place I would have bought some stuff had it been open. But oh, what a shame. Looks like we're gonna have to go back. So from that point, we kind of took a walk back. We had a stop at a cafe, had something to drink, but then we went over to Typewronger Books. This was a shop on my itinerary that I really, really wanted to visit. Going back to the whole excitement on vintage things, I knew I just had to go to this shop. This bookshop is like a 2-in-1. So there's a bookshop on the left, which has a lot of old style books, classics, poetry, Shakespeare, etc. Then on the right, it's got more modern books, genres like fantasy, romance, etc. But then it's also got the typewriters as well. I don't know if the typewriters are available to buy. I assume so, but I didn't actually check. But if you fancy a typewriter, go and have a look. There is also a typewriter you can use in the middle of the shop. You can sit down and have a type away on it. I absolutely love it. That was like my dream typewriter. The one I have is a little bit more modern, but that one was a lot older and I really, really wanted it. Unfortunately though, I don't think I would have got that on the plane. Not too far from there, we then went to Toppings Company. This bookshop was absolutely stunning. It was 2 floors, but the amount of rooms that there was just insane. And my favorite thing about the shop was that it had the ladders that you could kind of roll around on. So if you're someone who wants a library with a ladder, or maybe you can't put it in your own house, just go to this bookshop and live your bookish dreams and swing on some ladders. I genuinely didn't think you would be allowed to use them because health and safety is like through the roof nowadays. I just assumed you wouldn't be able to touch them or go near them, but you are actually allowed to use them. So as long as you're safe and sensible, absolutely live those dreams. One thing I also loved about this shop as well is a lot of the books have protective covers on them, and I'm pretty sure you get to keep them when you buy them, which is really nice because it's just that little additional thing and that keeps your books safe. And they've got lots of signed books, box sets. Honestly, there was just so much in there. I think you can also have food and drinks in there as well, because I saw a couple of people sitting at small tables with little teapots and I just thought that was really sweet. So yeah, definitely recommend that bookshop. And then before we knew it, Tuesday arrived and it went incredibly fast. So Tuesday morning, we were supposed to go and visit Greyfriar Bobby's grave, and I think Tom Riddle's and everything as well. But unfortunately, I ended up being quite sick during the night. So it meant that I woke up feeling a little rough in the morning. So I kind of had to take that time to rest up and get better, because we actually had the zoo booked for the afternoon. I 1000% recommend Edinburgh Zoo. It's absolutely huge, and the amount of animals that are there, it's wild. There were just animals there that I did not think would be there. I've never really been to a zoo before. I've been to the safari down in West Midlands, but other than that, I've not really been to any kind of animal place before, so the variety was huge. There were just so many adorable animals there. I just wanted to take them all home with me in my bag, but again, wouldn't get through security very far. One thing I will say is, if you are planning on heading to the zoo, just make sure you take food with you. There is stuff you can buy there. There is cafes and little places around where you can grab stuff, but obviously it's very easy to get hungry very quickly. And I also recommend checking the times as well, because it does shut earlier in the winter. So just give yourself enough time to see the animals, go to the shop, etc, etc. So yeah, definitely recommend the zoo. It's such a good day out. Once we got back, because it was still light, I then wanted to visit the Vanel Point. Obviously, this is also just a great place for photos and it has the most stunning view. But for me, I loved One Day on Netflix. It is the romance series based on the book. It's very heartwarming, very emotional, and this is where one of the scenes were filmed. So I wanted to go there and visit it. The university is also another location, but we didn't have time to visit the university. Just such a beautiful place for photos. So I definitely recommend visiting there because it's absolutely gorgeous with the castle view in the background. Stunning. And then we headed back for the evening, settled down, and honestly, time flew, but it was absolutely insane just how much we got done in those 3 days. The amount of walking we did, the amount of bookshops we visited, the amount of places we got to see, the monuments, history. Oh my gosh, we did everything. So the only things we didn't get to do were go to the university, Dean Village, and the Booklovers Bookshop. And I guess there was also the cemetery as well. But once you go to Edinburgh and you do most things, it means that if you do decide to go back again, you can just do all the little bits that maybe you didn't get round to do, and you don't have to kind of rush around as much. I'm 100% hoping to go back again, because now I'm back home, I miss it so badly. I know it's very normal to kind of miss a place when you get home from an amazing holiday, but there was just something so magical about Edinburgh. I really want to go back. If I could live there, I would. I just feel like I came back a completely different person. I feel so relaxed and so happy. It's just such a lovely place. And something that me and Shannon were talking about as well is how safe you feel. Obviously, I think when you live somewhere for so long, you kind of see the bad side of places. But I think because there is so many people around and tourists, you just feel safe all the time. Even when we were walking around in the dark and late at night, we didn't feel uncomfortable or anything like that. So yeah, it's just such a beautiful place, and it really is a book lover's dream come true. In terms of food and places to eat, there are so many amazing cafes and restaurants and pubs that you can go to. By our hotel, a lot of the places were quite fancy and therefore quite expensive. So the majority of the time, we literally just went to Sainsbury's and got meal deals for our lunch for the days. And then we also got pastries for breakfast. Our hotel did have breakfast, but rather than paying like loads of money, we just thought a couple of pastries in the morning would be fine, because we're not big eaters in the morning anyway. But for kind of brunches, the only kind of cafe we went to was one of them on the Sunday before heading back to our hotel after going to Vanel Street, and I'll pop a picture up because I can't remember off the top of my head right now what it was called. So post-editing me will pop it on the screen for you. But to be honest, because most of the days we were kind of grabbing random bits of food as we were going along, we didn't really have a dinner other than the roast on the Sunday when we got there. Honestly, most of the time we were just grabbing random snacks and random bits of food from different cafes, and it kind of kept us going. There are lots of places to go to, and there are lots of cafes and lots of brunchy and breakfast places, lots of pubs as well. I think next time I would definitely maybe try a pub because I love a pub meal. It's just cozy and it's homely, but it kind of fills you up. But you're gonna need to keep your energy if you do go, because you will be surprised how much walking around you will be doing. If you are worried about how much walking there is, then I do recommend maybe adding more days to your stay, just so you don't have to do so much of it in one day. But don't be worried too much. Uber is really accessible in Edinburgh, and also there are buses and other kind of brands of taxis and things like that and companies, so don't worry too much. You will be able to get around. And like I said, I think the furthest we traveled from one point to the other was about 25 minutes or something like that. So everything is very local, so just kind of have a look around, see what places you want to go to, and you'll probably find it's quite close. So I don't know kind of what the equivalent is on Android, but for us, we used Apple Maps. We kind of pinpointed all the places we wanted to go to, and then whilst we were walking around, we were just looking at what we pointed on the map to see if it was local. But definitely plan your journey before going. You may not necessarily stick to it. You might end up doing different things on different days because you're like, oh, actually, this is closer than we thought. But as long as you have an idea of the places you want to go to, I think that's the most important thing. And then you can literally just go onto Google Maps and put all of the places you want to go to in and just follow the map from there. But like I said, where everything is quite close, I don't think you'll really have much trouble with this. So yeah, just enjoy yourself because there are just so many incredible things to do. So if you can get there, please go, because it is just absolutely beautiful. The amount of pictures and videos on my camera roll, I'm surprised my phone has storage left. But yeah, it was an absolutely wonderful experience. It was just the best thing I've done so far. I think about it all the time, and I really do hope to go back again. I hope you enjoyed this little vlog, and I hope it means that you can kind of build a little itinerary yourself based on everything in the video. I do also have some bookish posts over on my booktok as well. If you want to go and check it out, I've put locations and things to do there as well. So feel free to go and check those out as well. Let me know in the comments if you have ever been to Edinburgh, or if you have any questions you want to ask. Please feel free, and I'll do my best to answer them as best as I can. Thank you so much for watching. As always, your support means so much to me, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye!